Hi guys, I want to show you how to make this two-color brioche hat, knit hat in the round. This pattern is the Ligura, I'm probably not saying that right, hat by Katrin Schubert. I just really love her on Instagram. If you want to check her out, she has the best pictures and photos of brioche knitting. I came across her and I love everything she does, so I taught myself how to knit two-color brioche in the round. And this is the third time I am making this hat. My pattern's a little ripped here, sorry about that. But I have an example that I made. This is the second one. Oopsie, this is the second one I've done. It's really squishy. It's really cool looking. It's unique. I just love it. It looks so advanced. It's pretty easy to do once you get the hang of it, although I will say this is not down the road knitting. This is not TV knitting. You have to pay attention because if you screw up, and God knows I'm not perfect, there are some errors in here. I just kept going. But if you make a mistake in two-color brioche, it's really hard to take back. You can see here some flaws that I have, but overall, if you don't look too hard, it's still a pretty cool looking hat. So I'll try to show you the lessons learned when I made this hat, and hopefully you guys can make one. When I was going through the YouTube videos on how to do two-color brioche in the round, I could find, you know, here and there pieces of it, but I didn't find a tutorial that was start to finish, so hopefully this will help some of you guys who are looking for that. The way that I taught myself was Nancy Marchant's video. She mentions her in her pattern. Actually, I did the Craftsy class, and there really wasn't a good section on that in her class, so I went to YouTube. There was another video out there that had a mistake in it. It took me a couple months to learn it, and finally I'm here. So I guess I wanted to try my hand at making a video to help you guys. So I'm going to use this purple color. This purple color I'm going to cast on with. Whatever color you cast on with here, this edge is going to be this color here. Okay, so this color is the knitting that you'll be doing. The blue is actually the brioche purling you'll be doing, and that I'm going to use white for that. So I'm going to cast on in this color. Now the cast on is a German twisted long tail cast on. There are other videos out there. If you don't want to watch me do this, that's fine. So you hold it in your hand like that, and you're going to grab down on it. You pull back, you come down through the hole, you come over, you pick that up, you twist it down, and you pull it. You don't want to pull it tight here. This is important that you keep spacing. Pull back through the hole, pick this one up, twist it down and through. Don't pull it too tight. I have a tendency to just really yank on that. You don't want to do that. You want to keep it a little bit looser if you can. And so you're going to cast on. The pattern has 3 sizes, small, medium, and large. I have worked the small. It worked great for my kids, and now I make the medium. So go ahead and get your cast on done, and then when we come back, I'm going to show you how to do the setup round. Now the setup round that I'm going to show you is different than the setup in the pattern. I actually set up with a knit round first, and this will not hurt the pattern at all if you want to throw this in there the way I do it. It will not hurt the pattern. So when I come back, I will show you how I do that. So we'll see you back in a couple minutes. Okay, we are back. So I casted on the recommended amount of stitches from the pattern. I like to trim my tail down, so I keep that, you know, pretty short, couple inches. I don't like a long tail in my way. First thing we're gonna do is place a stitch marker here. Now this setup round is not in the pattern. When I learned two-color brioche, this is how I learned it, and it works fine to add this row, so I just go with it. So the first row is a setup row for knitting. The second row is actually the recommended version in the pattern, so if you'd rather start on the second row, that is okay with me, but this is how I do it. So the first one, we make sure none of your stitches are twisted. Mine are not. You're going to knit just a regular knit stitch. You're going to bring your yarn forward and you're going to slip one off, and then the yarn over comes when you knit the next one. So you're going to knit and it's going to create a yarn over. So bring your yarn forward, you slip one, and then you knit, and it creates the yarn over. Bring your yarn forward, you knit, and then you keep going. Yarn forward. I gotta get some more over here. Slip one, and then knit, and it'll create that yarn over. Yarn forward, knit one. So if we take a look at how this is looking here, and it's really hard to see, but you're going to have a knit one, and then you're going to have a yarn over with that slip stitch. Okay, we are back. We did our first round. I just want to show you how this looks in case you have questions. So this, you're gonna have kind of like a 3-stitch bundle. I don't know if that's what you want to call it, but this is your one that you knit, and here's the yarn over, and here's the slip stitch. So knit, yarn over, slip stitch, knit, yarn over, slip stitch. When you get to the end, the last one, pull the yarn in front, is going to be a slip stitch. And so you want to tighten your tail down a little bit, and you are going to let this just hang in the back, your working yarn. We're going to join the next color. Okay, so keep your tail separate from your working yarn. We're going to switch our marker to the other needle. We're going to pull out the other yarn. Now I like to match tail lengths because I'm just that cool, or try to. So we're going to have our tail lengths kind of the same. The purple's going to be hanging down. I have my yarn twisted over here, so I'm just going to fix that really quick. Here we go. And now what we want to do is we're going to be, you know, you can have the second color in the back. You're going to actually bring it to the front, and that's where we're going to start off. Now, this last one was a knit, so we're going to slip that one now, okay? So you can grab a hold of your tail of your tails if you want to. But you're gonna have the working yarn. Now it's the white in the front. We got our markers switched over. This first one, we're just gonna take it off the needle. We're gonna slip it, and we're gonna pull it around for a yarn over. And these next two, you pull up the next two, and you're gonna brioche purl that. Okay. And then you're gonna slip, and you're gonna yarn over, and then the next two, you're gonna brioche purl. You're gonna slip, you're gonna yarn over, and you're gonna brioche purl. You don't have to hold on to the tail anymore. But I'm gonna work a couple more of it, more stitches so you can see this. Brioche purl. So you're gonna slip, you're gonna yarn over, the next two on there, you brioche purl. You're gonna slip, you're gonna yarn over, the next two, you're gonna brioche purl. This is actually the first round in the pattern if you're following the pattern. Okay, now if we look at this, I always like to show you what this looks like so you know you're on track. So you got your purl, and then you got your slip and your yarn over. So it should be kind of like in a 3-stitch bundle. You got your purl, your slip, and your yarn over. So keep going all the way around to the end, and I will show you what it looks like to switch back to the other color. Okay, I'm to the end of the round here. I'm going to slip, yarn over, and then the last brioche purl, you have the working yarn from the last time, and then the 1 stitch on the needle. So make sure you get that working yarn in when you do your purl. So I'm gonna go in here, purl that, and then I'm gonna bring my yarn to the back. I'm gonna switch my needle here, my stitch marker. All right, now I'm gonna pick up the purple. Not the tail, but the working yarn. And we're going to brioche knit the first two. So these two we're going to knit. And I have this twisted here and I don't like that, so I'm going to fix that really quick. There we go. Okay. So you can kind of pull on the tails too to tighten everything down and get it how you want it to be. So I think I'm good. Okay, so these first two I'm going to knit with my purple. And then you're going to bring your yarn forward. And then you're going to slip. And then you're gonna yarn over and knit. So when you knit, you're actually doing a yarn over with that. So bring your yarn to the front, slip, and then knit, and it creates a yarn over. Front, slip, knit, yarn over. That was confusing to me when I first started two-color brioche. I was like, what's this yarn over? I don't see it. And it just comes when you're knitting it. So you slip one, and then you're like, where's the yarn over? But you need to knit, and then when you knit it, it's creating this yarn over. So front, slip, knit, yarn over happens. Bring to the front, slip, knit. So you can get going pretty good. You know, a good clip here, whatever you want to do. Now when we look back at this, I always like to look back. So this is our knit, and here's our slip and yarn over. So again, it's kind of like a bundle of three, if you will. They always have, you know, your knit and then your slip one yarn over, knit, slip one yarn over, knit, slip one yarn over, knit. So you can tell by looking back if you've made any mistakes, but you don't want to make any mistakes because it's super hard to fix. So no talking and knitting, people. No kids, no interruptions, no husbands. You just do your thing. Forward, slip, knit, creates that yarn over. Forward, slip, knit, creates that yarn over. Forward, slip, knit. Okay, so that's how it's looking so far. Isn't it pretty? Sometimes, so look at this, sometimes occasionally you're gonna see that your yarn over is over that stitch that you have to slip, and that's okay. Just separate them out, and then you'll see where they line up on the needle. If you have kind of a looser yarn over, like right here, well, where am I? Right here. See, you'll kind of come to that and you'll be like, oh my gosh, what's going on? But if you just separate it out, you'll be able to tell that this is the one you slip, these are the two that you knit together. So don't be afraid. Here's another one. So don't be afraid by that. Just know what you're working with. So this is your slip, these are your knit together. Slip, knit together, slip, knit together. So you gotta be able to read that work when you're going through. Slip, yarn over, knit together. Okay, so we'll do this to the end, and then there's a little trick for starting the white again when you're purling, and I'll show that to you when we come around. Okay, I'm almost to the end of the second knit round, so I wanted to show you just a little trick with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just finish this, a slip, and then I'm going to knit these two together, or brioche knit. I guess I don't have the right terminology. Okay, and then slip. Now, this yarn has to be in a part of this last one because it's the yarn over. So part of your 3-group bundle, it needs to be partnered with this white from the last time. So what you can do is keep this down and then bring your white working yarn up, and you're going to lock this in. So I'm going to switch my marker here. You're going to bring your second color up and forward. You need it forward anyways. And what that does is, if you've done color work before, you know that it's just going to lock this in here. So just bring it forward, lock it in. You have to have it forward anyways to start with the next slip and then yarn forward. So then you should be good to go. So what you're going to do for the purling now is you're going to slip, and you're going to, the markers kind of get in the way, that's okay. You're going to bring it forward like that. yarn over, and then you're going to purl, brioche purl these two together. Then you're going to slip, yarn over, brioche purl these two together. And this is two color brioche in the round, people. If you've got it this far, you're doing pretty good. Slip, yarn over, brioche purl. So I want you to do that all the way around. Now the pattern calls for 11 rounds of this ribbing here. So you do 11 rounds. And then when you do that, we will come back and I will show you a trick of how to start off the pattern and what I do with this pattern to help me stay on track of where I am. Because if you're like me, you have a busy job, you have a husband, you have 4 kids, and sometimes when you put your knitting down, you don't know when you come back to it where the heck you left off. So I created this little table that will help, and I'll show you my tricks for that. So keep going, guys. You're doing good. I'm not paying attention, so I hope I didn't screw up. So when we look back, let's just take a second here. You got your purl, your yarn over, and your slip. Not necessarily in that order. But you should have, you know, the 3, I call it the 3-stitch bundle. So that's what you're looking for. This straight up purl, the yarn over, and the slip. That is like one complete flow that you need to do. So when you spread it out, that's really what you're looking for. You're going to notice that the white is going to be the purl and the purple is going to be the knit on the outside, and it'll be the opposite on the inside. Okay, so work that around. Work this pattern around 11 times or whatever your pattern calls for, and I'll come back and we will look at how to start the pattern.